everyone, welcome back to our channel. My name is Tatiana. I have Koby the Beagle here with me today and his sister Alaya the Cavalier assisting us. Today we wanted to share with you some of our favorite Beagle puppy essentials that have worked very well for us from the beginning. For his crate, Koby started with a 36-inch long crate, and then eventually he graduated to a 42-inch long crate. I wanted to make sure that it was spacious, that there were plenty of toys inside, and that he felt that it was cozy. Especially when they're teething, it's important to have a variety of toys that they can safely chew on to redirect that attention from our fingers, our wrists, towards the toy. We made sure that he had plenty of toys to select from, as well as enrichment toys that could be beneficial for him, stimulating him mentally. And of course, one of his favorite toys is a ball. Now for more home essentials, we like to use security cameras, baby monitors. Especially baby monitors were very useful for me to have peace of mind, especially at night when he would sleep in his crate and I wanted to make sure that he was okay. Another great investment that we made was to get multiple pet gates, baby gates throughout the house, indoors and outdoors. And especially for beagles, we needed to make sure that we knew where he was at all times, especially at the beginning when they're starting to explore and follow their nose. So we wanted to make sure that he was safe at all times. Other items that are very useful throughout the house are wet wipes, making sure that they're nice and clean. And of course, this is more for us than for them. Lint rollers, plenty of them. For walking essentials, we have harness, collar, GPS tracker, a dog treat fanny pack, and of course a leash. Now I prefer to use a harness on his body instead of the collar when I'm walking him because I don't like to choke him. The GPS tracker is very nice to have to bring some of that peace of mind, especially when traveling, because as we know, beagles like to follow their nose and sometimes that might lead to trouble, so it's good to know where they are. A fanny pack is also a very good investment, especially when training, and I like that this one has a disposable bag section as well as a clicker, so that way they can remember what they're learning a lot easier. And of course it has a section for the treats. It was very useful not only outdoors but also indoors, so that way every time he would do something that I wanted him to do, I could reward him. Which reminds me, when I did not want him to do something, I introduced him to a spray bottle, which is a very similar method used with cats to reinforce some boundaries. For grooming essentials and dental care, I like to use a Kid's Extra Soft toothbrush inside his mouth, so that way I can get his teeth nice and clean. And when he was smaller, I used a baby toothbrush that allowed me to get inside and be able to keep his mouth nice and clean. Of course, always using dog toothpaste. This is something that we do nightly, as well as filing his nails. And for that, I like to use a professional grade nail file that is good for acrylic nails because they are sturdier and they last for longer. I like to follow a U shape and keep his nails nice and in control, not going too deep and getting close to a nerve. And because beagles have floppy ears, they can accumulate moisture that leads to earwax and potentially infections. So I like to keep them nice and clean to avoid any infections. My favorite method is to use a little cotton ball and take what I need and use this solution. I got this tip from Dr. Jones at Veterinary Secrets, using a facial toner that has witch hazel with aloe vera and is alcohol free. This is what has worked best for us, and thankfully he has had no infections. Of course, when I'm using the cotton ball, I make sure to clean carefully and not go in too deep. And you will be surprised at the amount of earwax that I get out of him. And something that I like to do nightly is to brush him. I like to use a dog brush and also use a flea comb. Not because he has fleas or ticks, but because this is very good at trapping a lot of that fur. For feeding essentials, I like to use either ceramic or stainless steel. And I prefer to use an elevated food bowl to make sure that there's no stress around his neck when he's eating, so that way he's more comfortable and he has an easier digestion. A good rule of thumb is that depending on your beagle's height, a food bowl that is 6 to 10 inches tall is recommended. And over here we have a licking mat. I like to use a 1-ingredient peanut butter and put it on top. Leave it in the freezer and then use it whenever I need to create a distraction, which was very useful when we first started grooming him, as he was not a fan of getting his nails done. To make things easier, I will leave a checklist that you can refer to. And for more, I have created a free puppy care guide that you can find in the description box. Thank you very much for spending this time with us today, and we will see you next time.